Okay, well, as we like to say, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where we have the pleasure of speaking with you today. My name is Scott Clawson with PPM Works, and today I'm going to be talking about successful multi-project management, which really is focused on creating what we call task dependencies across projects. So, pretty short agenda today, probably won't take up more than 30 minutes, but we're going to be talking first about what are the different types of task dependencies, and then tips for creating what I call standard external links, so standard links across projects. And then we'll talk a little bit about some enhanced external links using a third-party tool and some benefits of those. So again, my name is Scott Clawson. I'm our Director of Delivery and Technology for PPM Works. I've been working really over 16 years with this Microsoft project portfolio management platform. My work is hands-on with customers, helping them create initial environments on Project Online, Project Server, or perhaps building any type of integration with their environment, reports, any special integrations. So at PPM Works, we're really working hard this year to put some valuable content out to you in the form of webcasts and blog posts. Today, if you happen to be in the Edina, Minnesota area, we have at the Microsoft office a PPM Summit followed by happy hour. So if you're fortunate enough to be in that area, not only do you have the Super Bowl this week, but a great PPM Summit there in Edina. And then also today, of course, is the successful project multi-project management webcast. And then we're going to follow that with really every Tuesday through the month of February, a whole series of different webcasts. So I hope you will join us here today and in the future. All right, so learning objective for what we're going to cover here is really understand the best practices for managing these multi-project efforts and the details of linking tasks across projects. So start with kind of some basics, and most of what I'm going to show you today is going to be kind of hands-on demonstration, but I have just a few slides. So first thing, just to the basics, let's talk about something you may know really well, but just to kind of cover this topic. What are the different types of ways you can make tasks dependent on each other? The first is a finish to start, and this is really the most commonly used type of task dependency. In fact, if you just use, as I'll show you, the link button on your toolbar, it'll create this type of dependency. So the way this works is the predecessor task must essentially finish before the successor task can start. Another type of dependency is start to start, meaning that both the predecessor and the successor can start at the same time. Then you have finish to finish, meaning the successor cannot finish until the predecessor is finished. And then the last, which is a very unique, start to finish is almost an inverse relationship where the successor cannot finish until the predecessor has begun. All right, so I'm going to jump over now to Microsoft Project. And here I have a sample schedule. And just cover some of these type of dependencies that we've just talked about. Now, if you first come to your Gantt chart here, you'll see a series of tasks. And what I want to talk about right now is this predecessor column. So if you don't have that inserted, you'll want to insert that into your view. And then to actually see the details of these predecessor-successor relationships, what we're going to do is go to the task ribbon here, sorry, the format ribbon, view ribbon, there we go, and choose details. And this will open up a pane below here if you haven't seen it before to see the task form details. And here I see, for example, on my schedule, this task 3 has a predecessor of document requirements. Now, before this was created, it would have looked something like this. And you might have seen, for example, that you can highlight 2 tasks here, and then on your task ribbon, you can click this little link selected task button on the taskbar. And notice here on the Gantt chart right now that these 2 tasks start at the same time, but when I click this, it'll actually have this task 2 here, document requirements, as a predecessor to the next task 3 here, which is review and approve requirements. And you'll see as I hover over this task 3, down here in my task form, I see that document requirements is listed as a predecessor. Now, all those different constraint types I talked about before are here. They're abbreviated. So just let's look at the Gantt chart as we change this. So if I go now from a finish to start, which is the default type, to a finish to finish, and hit OK, notice how both of these now finish at the same time. I'll now change it to a start to finish. This is the unique one where it's almost an inverse relationship where I must finish this successor before the predecessor starts. And then the last type here we have is start to start, where essentially they must start at the same time. So I just wanted to give you kind of the basics. I'll turn this back to the default finish to start, which gives us more of kind of the waterfall that we normally see in our schedules. So I just wanted to give you the basics and show you how you would set up those predecessors and successors. Okay, and the last thing to note here when we're talking about predecessor successors is the ability to create either a lead or a lag. So if you know, for example, you're going to need a little bit of time before that successor starts, you can add days here below. And as shown in the Gantt chart, that'll just give you a little bit of space. So these are all the basic features we have with predecessor successors. Now, a lot of times working with our client customers, they'll explain to us a need to create more than one schedule. A lot of times you'll have cases maybe in pharma where you have an overall timeline and you have various maybe studies. In an IT organization, you might have an overall program with sub-projects that have different work packages. So the way I'm going to illustrate this is assuming this primary project here is my main schedule. I have a second project open here on my system called the dependent project. And in the dependent project, I just have a few work packages. And so you might have been wondering, well, how can I actually link these two? Let's say my requirements cannot be complete until one of those work packages in the dependent project is complete. So earlier I looked at this predecessors column. And as a trick here, you can actually go to the predecessors column, and you could, I have this actually ready for me in my notes here. You could actually use this very detailed link, go right into your predecessors, and I'm going to add, sorry, it was slow to open there, a comma here and add a predecessor to this other project I have called the dependent project. Now, if you want to type this all out, which is kind of the difficult method, you would use the greater than, sorry, less than, greater than sign, a slash, the name of the project, another slash, and then the task within that project. So let's see when I've entered all this into my schedule, what happens. So just above the task where I manually type that predecessor, I now see a gray task, and this is what we call an external task from the dependent project, and it is work package 1. Let's go over to that dependent project and look at that task. All right, there it is. So on my dependent project, there is also an external task showing the requirements complete. So what it does when you create one of those external links across two projects is it'll create an external task, and you can actually double-click that task to see what it is in the other project. So now a predecessor of requirements complete is the work package 1 complete from my dependent schedule. And notice in my Gantt, when I put that external dependency in, it moved my milestone date out. Okay, so again, this is how you manually type it in, but I'm going to show you a much better way. So let me go ahead and remove this. I'll show you a much better shortcut. So instead of manually typing it in, just remove it here. Give me a moment. Okay, it's gone there. Let me just close the schedule. It's giving me a hard time here. All right, I'll open it back up again. All right, so let's look at a shortcut now. All right, so you saw me type it in manually. What's a faster way to do that? So here's a little tip. From the View menu, View ribbon, you're going to click this button for New Window. And you're going to see the two projects you have open in your session, and it's the primary project and that dependent project. And what I'm going to do is actually highlight both of these for my new window and click OK. And notice at the top, it created a brand new schedule called Project 2. And notice inside of this brand new schedule it created by using that new window, it has two projects. It has both open projects inserted, my dependent project and my primary project. We call this Project 2 a temporary master project. So if you're familiar with creating master projects are projects with additional projects inserted. It's called temporary because we're actually only going to use this just to create the links across projects. So again, that was from the View menu, New Window. So first I had my two schedules open. I went to View, New Window. I selected both of them and opened them in this temporary master project. Now, when I have this open, I can select my work package 1. I can select my requirements, and then I can link them using this little button here on the task ribbon to link selected tasks. Now, notice in primary project, the predecessor is exactly the same as when I typed it. But this time, because I created the temporary master and I linked that way, I didn't have to go through the difficulty of typing the coded link. So much shorter for you. So what are some of the recommendations we have for these? Let me show you completing this process. So now that you've finished here, you can actually close your temporary master called Project 2. And I can just discard my changes for this. I don't need to save. And I get back to my original primary project, and notice now that it's linked. So what are some tips here? So you can create these links using that process of opening in the same session and going to New Window, creating a temporary master and creating these links. I created a finish to start on this task, but notice you could also change that if you need to do start to start, finish to finish, etc. Lead or lag, it's all possible. But really, as a best practice, we recommend no more than probably 10 of these linked tasks, because what will actually happen is each time you open your schedule, it will need to go and open those other up to, let's say, 10 projects and review what the linked dependencies are and update your schedule. And so you start to see performance issues, slower performance after about 10. So that's kind of our recommendation. So what happens when one of these external tasks changes? So let me go now to my dependent project. And I'm just going to move this date out here 40 days, or add 20 more days to it. Okay, so it's now moved out to 6/4. Okay, so I'll go to my primary project. And if you have both projects open, you'll notice that it will move those dates for you. Let me show you a case though actually where you don't have both open. So let me go back to my dependent project. I'm going to move this back 20 days. All right, so let's close this. Close this. Okay, we'll open the dependent project and move out the date now. Okay, so we've just extended it by 20 days. I'll go ahead and publish this. Now I'll open up my primary project. And notice how the date here still shows 5/4. So if I go to the project ribbon, I click this button for links between projects, it's now telling me that originally this date was 5/4, which I'm seeing currently in my schedule. However, now there's a difference. The finish has moved to 6/4. So with this external link, I'm able, again, to go to that project, links between projects, verify any predecessors that have moved, and I could do two things. I could either totally remove the link, or I can accept it, and that watch will happen in my schedule here when I accept it. This date is currently 5/4. I'll do accept and close, and now it will shift it out to 6/4. So that kind of shows you the visibility you would have into a external link. When that link changes, how it shows up in your primary project. Now, unfortunately, with the built-in kind of standard links, you don't have any ability to roll that back other than to remove the link. So if I go to this particular link, or I go here to project, links between projects, I can actually remove, delete this link. And then I'll open my other project. And then delete the link from this side as well. All right. So what did we cover so far? So we covered the different types of task dependencies: finish to start, start to start, finish to finish, start to finish. Showed you a little bit of lead and lag. And then we talked about some tips for creating these standard external links. So the primary tip was to open both schedules and choose View, New Window to create a temporary master project. Then you can create links just as you normally would inside a single project, and you can close, but you don't need to save that temporary master after links are created. So the recommendation for these kind of standard external links is to keep them to less than 10 per schedule due to performance. And with standard external links, there's no option to roll back if you do move your schedule forward or back based on those links. So next I want to talk about a third-party tool that we have been recommending called MasterLink. And this tool basically extends the functionality that you would get with links between projects. I'm going to show you how it works. So at PPM Works, we work with lots of different vendors that provide tools. MasterLink is one of them, so we're happy to assist you with that. If you're interested in, let us know. With MasterLink installed, you would have a MasterLink ribbon tab here. And the process for creating links is a little bit easier. You don't need to have both projects open, although I do here. And essentially what you would do is click this links ribbon. Button. And then down below here on my requirements complete, I can click to add a new link. Now this link is going to be a finish to start, just like we showed before. And I would choose the project where I'm going to grab it from. This is the benefit here. You don't have to have the project open. And I can choose which task, for example, this work package complete I want to link to. So when I add that, it's going to show up down here, and it's going to actually indicate, I can go to a special view here that's going to indicate to me, plus here indicates that it's a new link, but I also see down below here that this link has a finish date of 6/4, and my schedule, it's only a finish date of 3/12. So down below here, what I want to do is actually accept this link. Notice when I accept it, the status went to a check, and it's showing the finish date is now 6/4. Now, one of the advantages you have, besides the ease of setup with this MasterLink tool, is the ability to roll back your link. So if you decide later, that's really impacting my finish date, I'm going to roll that back. There it is. It's still showing that it's linked, and it's still going to give you visibility to that date, but you don't have to necessarily accept the schedule change. Okay, you have the remove, you have the ability to see history, lots of different features. Let me actually remove this link and show you another requirement you may have. Now, a lot of times when we have these linked projects, we want to see some details in those projects, not just the actual task that's pushing out. So let me show you by inserting a few rows here what I'm going to do. All right, so I would like to see some work package details. So I'd like to see some work package details, and this is going to be work package 1 and work package 1 complete. So let's say in my schedule, I want not just that final date, but I want to see some details here. So I put this information in. I'm going to link this work package, this time, to the full work package that's in that dependent schedule. And this is what we call a work package link. And I'll talk about the difference here in a moment. So I've linked my work package complete. I'm also going to add a link to work package complete. All right, so when I've created these links and then I accept both of them, in my schedule, it's actually going to show me the full details of that work package and the complete task. So what I've done is not only, so I've created this work package details, I've linked these two items, and I can see the full finish and start of this linked work package. So if the finish moves or the start moves, I'll see that. If the complete date moves, the complete milestone, I'll see that as well. So not just the finish date in a predecessor, but the full work package task. So more or less, you're representing that whole task here in your schedule. So that can be helpful in the case where you want to do more than just a simple dependent external task, but actually see some of the details within that. Great. So let's review what we covered, and then I'll have some time for questions. So we start with the standard, and then I showed you some enhanced external links. So this would help you, just a few examples here. You'd overcome the performance limit of 10 links. So when you use a enhanced link tool like the one I've showed, you can get over that 10 link limit. You can roll back your updates at any time or show the history, and the ability to link a full work package to see both the start and finish dates along with supporting milestones. So very good. I'll pause now and look for questions if you haven't put them in either the chat or the Q&A section of the webcast. So good. I have one question here talking about links. Do you have to put those in both projects? Yeah, Michelle, good question. So looking at my project here, the way the external links work, they are going to be related to both projects because there is kind of a, in this tool, it's described as a give and get relationship, or you can think of it as a predecessor successor. So anytime you create one of these links, whether using the standard link feature or the enhanced one, you're going to see that external task on both sides. So it kind of lets either the predecessor task know or the successor. Now, when that task first showed up as an external task, remember it was gray, you can filter those out of your view. So if you're not interested in seeing those, you can filter them out. They show up by default, but they can be filtered out. Very good question. Any other questions? All right, good. Well, we landed right about what I thought, about 30 minutes. So just some closing comments here. First of all, if there's anything that wasn't answered, go ahead and email us. You can contact us at info@ppmworks.com. We are a registered education provider with PMI, so if you're interested in earning PDU credit for today's session, please also email info@ppmworks.com and we'll help you with that. You can reference your PMI number and this webinar. So thank you very much for your time. Everyone have a great Tuesday. Oh, I got one more question here. Okay, thank you.